So in this lecture, let's try to understand LLM benchmarks, that is understanding language model performance. The problem here is every week people are releasing new models, right? So how do you keep yourself up to date? So to keep yourself up to date, we have leaderboards available. So you can see the models based on different categories, like if you want to pick only the math model or coding model or in general as well. We also have some open source leaderboards available in Hugging Face, and we also can evaluate generative language models by going to this Hugging Face page. And LLM safety leaderboards, right? Let's say if you are working in a healthcare domain, right? So then safety is the highest priority. So we have models specific to safety as well. And this is LLM API link. So if you go here, you can see different API links. Now let's go to all these URLs and deep dive. So this is the leaderboard, right? So this is called the leaderboard. So you can see here based on the rank and the model name and odds, score, and when was the LLM trained, that is the knowledge cutoff date and everything, right? So if you notice here, we have different categories. So you can select the overall. Let's say if you want to use a math model, right? So select math category here, and you can see Gemini 2.5 is outperforming, right? And let's say if you want to have a coding based model, then you can select the category as coding, and you can see ChatGPT 4, that is the #1 rank, right? So similarly, if you want to select a language specific model, English, Chinese, French, German, Spanish, etc., right? So you have different language models as well. So that is how, based on the category, you will be able to select the models, right? So every now and then you can come to this leaderboard and see which model is performing and what is the highest rank and what is the score. So according to these parameters, you can select the best model. And here you can see multitask language understanding, right? So you can filter based on the prompt techniques as well. We will see all these techniques: few shot, fine tune, 5 shot, chain of thought, all these techniques, right? So we will learn in detail in the prompt engineering techniques section. So based on the filter also, you can pick the right model. And if you go here, I think this is kind of a similar one as we saw before. It is just displaying a different format, license, score, and what is the model name. So here also you can select different categories and select the model that you want. And now let's see the open source model, right? So this is Open LLM leaderboard. So here you have different open source free models available, and you can see Quen and different models are available. So depending on your requirement, you can select these models, right? These are the open source models, and these are the safety models, right? So if you are working on a project where safety is the highest priority, then the #1 model is Anthropic, right? Claude Anthropic. So depending on the parameters, toxicity, stereotype, ethics, privacy, right, fairness, so based on these different categories, they've prioritized these models. So if safety is your highest priority, then you can select the best model by coming here. And the next one is all the LLM API links, right? So here, this is one place where you can see different LLM API links. Let's say if you want to go to this Google Kema 3, so here you can see the API link, right? Here you have the API playground also, where you can play around with different models. Similarly, you have all other LLM models. API links are available here. Now let's see the top open source LLMs. The first one is Grok. So here I've provided the URLs also. So Grok is best used for text summarization, and next one is Llama 2. This is best used for language modeling, question answering, sentiment analysis, right, and text summarization. And BERT, it is used for text categorization, question answering, and named entity recognition, NER, and sentiment analysis. And another open source LLM is Bloom. This is used for document classification, dialogue production, and text summarization. And the other one is Falcon, right? This is best used for language modeling, question answering, sentiment analysis, and text summarization. And the other one is ExcelNet. This is best used for text creation, inquiry answering, and language modeling. And the next one is GPT J and NeoX, right? So this is best used for language understanding, text completion, and chatbot interactions, sentiment analysis, code generation, and content summarization tasks. And the next one is OPT 175B. This is best used for document categorization, sentiment analysis, and text summarization, right? And the XGen 7B, this is used for dialogue systems, story development, and production of creative content. So depending on your requirement, you have to choose the model. Here I have listed the top open source LLMs, right? And the next one is Vicuna, this is best used for question answering, text summarization, and language modeling. And YI34B, this is used for chatbots and interactions, with its fine-tuned capabilities extending to technical support as well, educational tutoring and creative writing as well. And Mixtral, this is also one of the open source model, and this is best used for text generation, embeddings, and function calling, right? So these are some of the top open source large language models that we have. So depending on your need, you can choose the best model. And when it comes to selecting the right model, what are some of the parameters that you need to consider when selecting a model, right? So the first one is performance metrics or accuracy. That is, evaluate accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score. We have already seen this F1 score and other relevant performance metrics. So when it comes to performance, the importance should be very high. Of course, the LLM should perform really well, right? And then training data, make sure it is trained really well, right? So if you have good quality data, of course the LLM will give the accurate results, right? So assess the quality, diversity, and size of the data used to train the model. So you will have to make sure what is the size of the data and how well it is trained, what is the quality data, right? So that is most important when you are picking the model. And the model size, this could be medium, either small language model or large language model. Even the small language model, sometimes it can outperform, right? So consider the number of parameters in the model which impacts the performance and resource needs, right? So model size is medium. And inference speed, right? So that is the time the LLM takes to generate the predictions. So that is the inference speed. They should be very high, right? Because when you are using LLM, you will expect the accurate results within a less span of time, right? So the inference speed is really high. And resource requirements cost, obviously the importance is high, right? So evaluate the computational resources needed, including memory and processing power. And scalability, this is also high. Determine the model's ability to handle increasing data. So now let's say down the line, if you are increasing the data, we have to make sure the model performs well, right? Or complexity without performance loss. And fine-tuning capability, this is medium importance. So assess how easily the model can be fine-tuned for specific tasks with additional data. By adding additional data, how easily we can fine-tune the existing model, right? So this is the importance is medium. And robustness, evaluate the model's ability to handle noisy or adversarial inputs without significant degradation, and the importance is medium. And ethical considerations, when it comes to ethical considerations, the importance is high, because we need to identify any potential biases and the model's impact on fairness, accountability, and transparency. So the model should give unbiased results, right? And the community and support, and the importance is medium. Consider the availability of community support, documentation, and pre-trained versions. Let's say if you run into any issues, you want to make sure you have the enough documentation and community support as well, and the importance is medium. Okay, keep these parameters in mind when you are selecting any foundation model. All right, thank you.